Hi everyone, this is Dr. Chhoda and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. I'll give you some new information that just came out of Pennsylvania. Remember, Michigan certified their results for Biden yesterday. I'll also talk to you about some comments made by Marco Rubio and Lindsey about what's at stake with everything that the country is going to see going forward. Let's just jump right in, and here's where things stand. Pennsylvania has certified the election results for Biden despite the legal challenges mounted by the president's legal team. You'll see this article on your screen from Fox News that reads, Pennsylvania certifies election results for Biden, and Michigan actually certified the election results yesterday. We did cover this on our channel yesterday. Here's a tweet on your screen from Governor Tom Wolf. And he wrote, today the Pennsylvania State Department certified the results of the November 3rd election in Pennsylvania for President and Vice President of the United States. As required by federal law, I've signed the certificate of ascertainment for the slate of electors for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. So that is a done deal in the state of Pennsylvania. And what I find interesting is another message from Tom Wolf in the same thread where he says, again, I want to thank election officials who have administered a fair and free election during an incredibly challenging time in our Commonwealth and country's history. Our election workers have been under constant attack and they have performed admirably and honorably. And by the way, this tweet and this article was actually on Fox News. We'll provide you with a link to all our resources in the description section below, as we always do. Now, in a response from the Biden campaign today, Bob Bauer, who's one of the senior advisors for Joe Biden, said, it's readily apparent to everyone besides Donald Trump, Rudy Giuliani and Jenna Ellis that this election is over and that Joe Biden won resoundingly. Trump did everything he could to disenfranchise voters and stop the results from being certified in Pennsylvania, including filing over 15 unsuccessful lawsuits, most recently producing one of the most embarrassing courtroom performances of all time, with the judge in the case ruling that the arguments were, I quote, without merit and unsupported by evidence. That's what Bauer said. He also said Trump did not succeed in Pennsylvania and he will not succeed anywhere else. Now, here's something that's interesting. You'll see an article on your screen from Politico that says a majority of Republicans would actually support President Trump in another run in 2024. The president got 53% backing for a hypothetical 2024 primary, according to a survey conducted by Politico and Morning Consult. And what's even more interesting is that Pence came in second at only 12% support. Donald Trump Jr. got the third highest support at 8%, while other Republican figures, including Senators Tom Cotton, Ted Cruz, and Mitt Romney and Nick Haley, each got less than 5% support. I can tell you that some of these Democratic senators, Ted Cruz, Mitt Romney, Nikki Haley, probably even Marco Rubio, are probably screaming into their pillows at night, but they won't say that. Now, I want to get back to Pennsylvania for a second. U.S. District Court Judge Matthew Brand wrote in his order that President Trump had asked the court to disenfranchise almost 7 million votes. In seeking such a, I quote, startling outcome, the judge said a plaintiff could be expected to provide compelling legal arguments and, I quote, factual proof of rampant corruption, but, I quote, that has not happened. So what actually happened in Pennsylvania? Biden, by the way, who is a native of Scranton, Pennsylvania, won the state with 50% of the vote compared with 48.8% of the vote for Trump. According to the tally that was released by the Secretary of State for the state of Pennsylvania, Kathy Boockwar's office today, Biden and his running mate, Senator Kamala Harris, received 3,458,229 votes, while President Trump and Vice President Mike Pence received 3,377,674 votes. So again, that's 50% of the votes for Joe Biden and 48.8% of the votes for President Trump. The Pennsylvania Secretary of State Kathy Boockvar also said in a statement, we are tremendously grateful to all 67 counties who have been working extremely long hours to ensure that every qualified voter's vote is counted safely and securely. The county election officials and the poll workers are the true heroes of our democracy, and they enable us to vote in record numbers amid challenging circumstances so that every eligible voter's voice could be heard. Now, while all of that has been happening, Biden has selected his national security team. And in a statement, in fact, in a tweet, Marco Rubio called Biden's national security team polite and orderly caretakers of America's decline. Yep, he said they are polite and orderly caretakers of America's decline. In fact, let's take a look at the tweet from Marco Rubio on your screen right now. And this is what Rubio writes. Biden's cabinet picks went to Ivy League schools, have strong resumes, attend all the right conferences and will be polite and orderly caretakers of America's decline. I support America's greatness, and I have no interest in returning to the normal that left us dependent on China. This was according to Marco Rubio. I find it interesting that Marco Rubio took a shot at cabinet picks because they're educated in Ivy League colleges. Keep in mind that a lot of the members of the current administration, U.S. Treasury Secretary Stephen Mnuchin, White House Senior Economic Advisor Larry Kudlow, Betsy DeVos from Education, these are individuals who've gone to Ivy League schools. In fact, a lot of these individuals are worth hundreds of millions of dollars even before they got selected as cabinet picks to be in the Trump administration. So I do want our viewers and subscribers to be aware about that as well, because there are two sides to every story. Speaking of two sides to every story, this is something interesting that Marco Rubio said back in 2016, and he was talking about President Trump. Let's roll the tape and see what Marco Rubio said about President Trump back in 2016. Let's watch.
Think that might be a factor?
Well, yeah. I mean, this is unreal. I mean, again, this guy is a con artist. I mean, he's always making things up and no one holds him accountable for it. I mean, you have a guy who's being sued right now for fraud for Trump University. And if I've had stories written about my driving record, that we had red light cameras.
Now, let's turn our attention back to 2020, specifically 2021, specifically the 5th of January 2021, the all-important Georgia Senate runoff races, which will decide the balance of power in the United States Senate. Because if the Democrats win both Georgia Senate runoff races, the Democrats will be at 50 seats, the Republicans will be at 50 seats, but the Democrats would have the majority because a tiebreaker vote would come from Kamala Harris. So that would mean that we would not have Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell, we would have Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer. And this is something that Lindsey Graham is extremely concerned about. In fact, let's check out this interview with Lindsey Graham that was just done recently, where he says a Democratic Senate would mean the end of checks and balances. As far as I'm concerned, I haven't seen any checks and balances in the past few years. Let's see if we have checks and balances in the future. Let's listen to some of the comments from Lindsey Graham, Senator Lindsey Graham, about the importance of the Georgia Senate runoff races. Let's roll the tape.
Both parties know the importance of these two races, and the campaigns have kicked into high gear. Georgia is extending the use of ballot drop boxes amid a surge in requests for absentee ballots. Joe Biden is reportedly planning to campaign in the Peach State, and of course, Hollywood celebrities are pouring funds into this race. Joining us now is Senate Judiciary Committee Chairman Lindsey Graham, who knows a thing or two about Hollywood money and Senate races. Welcome to you, Chairman Graham.
Yeah, right. Yeah, I hope it's as effective in Georgia as it was in South Carolina. It didn't matter much here.
Yeah, if anyone's wondering what $100 million will get you, it'll get you a runner-up finish in the South Carolina Senate seat. Why?
Right,
Look, chairmanships, the rules of the Senate, why does it matter who controls the U.S. Senate?
Let me give you an example. If we lose these two Senate seats in Georgia, Pelosi will run the House, Schumer will run the Senate, and if the president falls short and Biden gets to be president, you're going to have Pelosi, Schumer, and Biden. That's the trifecta from hell for big government. It's a nightmare for conservatism. It's the end of checks and balances. What would that trifecta do? They would pack the court from 9 to probably 13. That destroys the independence of the judiciary because the Supreme Court would change every election cycle. That would undo what the founders tried to do in creating an independent judiciary. And finally, they would change the Electoral College, go to the popular vote. That means that South Carolina, Georgia, and other states would be basically dealt out, and California and New York would pick the president in perpetuity. It would fundamentally change the country as we know it. The fate of the republic really lies in the hands of our friends in Georgia. I live 25 minutes from the Georgia border. You live in Spartanburg. I live in Seneca. We grew up with Georgia neighbors. To my friends in Georgia, the country depends on you. I know you won't let us down, but I'm worried. The momentum seems to be with the Democrats right now. The money is pouring in. You cannot turn your television on in South Carolina without seeing an Ossoff commercial broadcast to Georgia. Greenville, Spartanburg, and Nashville markets can't have that many counties in Georgia covered, but they're just flooding the zone. And mail-in voting, if you expand mail-in voting in Georgia and you allow a single person to validate the signature at an election office and you don't have bipartisan signature validation, that's a formula for disaster for our two candidates in Georgia. So I'm worried as we speak tonight.
And in another segment, Lindsey Graham talked about, again, the importance of the Georgia Senate run of races, all the TV ads that are being run by both candidates, by the Democrats as well as the Republicans. I have done another video where I've talked about the Georgia Senate run of races having $500 million in spending. Already it has been projected that $200 million have been spent. We're talking $500 million. $500 million are going to be spent in Georgia, primarily on TV ads by both Democrats and Republicans, to win those two Senate runoff seats. Just unbelievable. Check out my other detailed video where I talked about the Georgia Senate runoff races and decide for yourself. Lindsey Graham warned against Bernie Sanders, an avowed socialist, in his words, in Lindsey Graham's words. A socialist could be the budget chairman if Democrats win Georgia. He said, we should win Georgia so I can be the budget chairman. And then Lindsey Graham plugs his website a couple of times because he says, they're being outspent. Let's take a look at another interesting segment from Senator Lindsey Graham. Let's roll the tape.
Chairman, I know you're the chairman of the Judiciary Committee now, but if Republicans keep, you would move to another committee. If the Democrats win both these seats in Georgia, who will be the chairman of the Judiciary Committee or the Budget Committee?
Well, Dianne Feinstein stepped down today as the ranking member because apparently I gave her a hug, and that's an unpardonable sin. So they literally ran Dianne Feinstein, who's a great person, out of her job because she said something nice about me. Let me give you a good example. I hope I don't ruin your Thanksgiving. If Democrats take over the Senate and we lose both Georgia seats, Bernie Sanders will be chairman of the Budget Committee in the United States Senate. An avowed socialist would be writing the nation's budget in the Senate. If we keep control of the Senate by winning both seats in Georgia, I'm going to be the budget chairman. You know what? I may not be your cup of tea out there, but let me tell you this, I'm a hell of a lot better than Bernie Sanders when it comes to your money. So a lot's at stake. Help where you can. The money is coming in major league on the Democratic side. My campaign, Team Graham, we transferred $1 million tonight to Senator Perdue and Senator Loeffler from my campaign account. I gave $1 million to NRSC, to every Republican senator and member of the House. Please turn your campaign accounts on to help Georgia. If you want to help me help Georgia, lindseygraham.com. We're getting outspent in Georgia already, and we need to close that gap. But we got a good message. We got two great candidates. And I know Georgia pretty well. That's where my parents came from. I just don't believe the people in Georgia are going to allow this country to be turned into a socialist nation. And that's really what's on the ballot for these Senate seats.
So if I heard you correctly, if the Democrats win, Bernie Sanders is the chairman of the Senate Budget Committee.
You heard me.
If Republicans win, you are. Having done a Christmas gift exchange with you, I can promise you are more fiscally conservative than anybody else I know. The box was more expensive than the present I got. So.
I border being cheap, but really this is all hands on deck. Help financially if you can. You can give to Senator Loeffler and Perdue's account. You can give to Battleground Georgia, lindseygraham.com. I will transfer the money over to our Georgia friends and our Senate colleagues. And I've already done $1 million to both. I want to double that. So we all need to be in financially. If you got friends in Georgia, make sure they vote. And President Trump, keep fighting. We need to change this law in Georgia where a single person can validate signatures voting by mail. It is a nightmare for us. So President Trump, keep fighting, keep challenging these systems. And we need President Trump to go to Georgia because there are people in Georgia who voted for President Trump that believe in him more than the Republican Party. And I think his voice could go a long way in helping us win these two Senate seats in Georgia. I hope he'll go to Georgia.
That's it, everybody. Incredible sequence of events today. The Pennsylvania certification following the Michigan certification for Joe Biden that took place yesterday. Interesting comments from Marco Rubio, both present and past comments, and the state of the Georgia Senate runoff races, which was covered in detail in another video, and Senator Lindsey Graham's focus on those races. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. You'll find a link to all of our resources in the description section below. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda with Ignition Time. I appreciate you watching. If you learned something from this video, please consider clicking the like button. Please gently ignite that subscribe button, and please enable notifications. That would mean a great deal to me. That tells YouTube that you found this content helpful. We release videos at 2 p.m. East Coast time most days of the week. That's 2 p.m. Get your cell phone out, send a text message with the word ignition or with the word time to 70,000, that's 70000. You'll get added to SMS alerts list moving forward. Now, if you want, you can also get added to our email list. Simply go to ignitiontime.com/alerts. Once you get on our email list, you'll get important breaking news and important alerts about matters that are important to the country, to the economy, and to your money. Now, you can also follow us on Instagram. My Instagram handle is ignition_time. That's ignition_time. And then you'll get exclusive content specifically for our Instagram followers. You can also follow us on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is also ignition_time. That's ignition_time. You'll get breaking news and alerts from us on Twitter. So make sure you follow us on Twitter. Now, sometimes YouTube does not always send out notifications on time. So all you have to do is simply bookmark youtube.com/ignition time. That's youtube.com/ignition time. And then you'll be able to visit the homepage of our channel and check out our videos at any point in time that you want. You're not dependent on the YouTube notifications. Again, if you learned something new from this video, please consider sharing this video with friends and family. You'll find the links to all of our resources in the description section below. So make sure to check out our description section. Please comment below and engage with our community. We have a vibrant, we have a bipartisan, we have an intelligent community, and you'll probably make a lot of friends in our community. So make sure you comment below and engage with our community. Finally, if you learned something new from this video, please consider clicking the like button. Please subscribe. Please enable notifications so you get instant updates from our videos going forward. Thank you so much for watching. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.